Good afternoon, Chief Justice.
How are you?
I'm not feeling good. But I'm trying.
No, I know you'll be just fine.
Thank you very much, Chichi.
All right. Jeez. Can we start? Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready, Chichi. Thank
All
you
right.
very much, Chief Justice.
So between and I finally know your age now. So that old battle is solved. I'm older than you.
With a few months older than me. A few months, Chichi.
Yeah, I saw the sun before you did. That's all that matters. Between 1984 and 1990, you worked in the civil service.
Yes.
First as a clerk in the then Transkei government. What did you do in that job?
Yeah, I did a lot. I did pension payouts. You remember we went to do pension payouts. I did clerk of the court. I did civil court. I did deposit account as a clerk, because we used to go there and work there over holidays. So June I did that. December I did some of the work, and then June the following year. And then thereafter I moved to Lusigi, 85.
Right. Very good grounding.
Yes.
Then you became a prosecutor, magistrate. You were prosecutor for what, 2 years?
2 years, and then I got promoted to the rank of a magistrate.
And then you decided you'd had enough and went to do your articles.
Yes, the late DZ Dugata recruited me and said I should go and do articles, and then I went for my articles.
You obtained your legal qualifications as you were working?
Yes.
So you studied
Especially
part-time?
the LLB.
And when then you got your Fulbright scholarship. Was it the Fulbright?
It was not Fulbright, it was USAID.
Or USAID?
Yeah,
So
USAID.
you went to do your master's at Georgetown in Washington, D.C.?
Yes, I did my master's there.
And on your return, you started your own practice?
Yes, I did. I started practicing.
How long did you run that practice?
17 years before I was appointed.
Appointed in 2010. In Grahamstown, as we used to call it.
Yes, in Makanda, as it is now called.
So you were at Makanda for 7 years, between 2010 and 2017.
That's correct, Siji. And then I moved to
Then you
Kabeja.
moved to Kabeja.
Yes, Siji.
Where you are still stationed.
Yes, I'm still stationed there.
So you've been a judge for quite a while.
To the extent that I've received my gratuity.
Already?
Yes, that's my consolation.
You don't mention those things in public. All right. I believe that you have acted as a deputy judge president in your division.
Yes, Siji.
When?
I started on this 12th of December 2020. 2020. This is wrong. Let me go to my presentation. This is wrong. I started on the 12th of October 2020 till the 23rd of October 2020.
All right.
And then in Kabeja again, I started on the 2nd of May 2023 till 30th of September 2023, which is the full term.
Yeah.
And then on the third occasion, I acted at Kabeja on the 2nd of October 2023 to 3rd November 2023, meaning that it was in succession.
Yeah.
And then on the fourth occasion, or it was on the 4th of March 2024 till the 29th of March 2024. That was a short stint.
A short stint.
Yes.
Oh.
Then
that stint was also in Kabeja?
Yes, it was in Kabeja. And then on the 14th of April 2025 till 20 June 2025, which was the whole term.
All right. And you've acted at the SCA as well and produced reported judgments in that court?
Yes, Siji. I think there are 3 or 4, I'm not sure, 3.
Yeah. And how many judgments have you written in all? An estimate you'll do?
I think it's over 400. You mean in my career?
Yes.
It's over 400.
Yeah. And any reported apart from the ones at the SCA?
There are. I think when we searched, I had about 18 reported judgments.
18.
18,
All
yes.
right.
When we did the search, I asked them to do the search. So it was about 18 reported judgments.
Okay. Have you presided in appeals? Have you been the senior judge in full bench appeals, in full court appeals?
No, many times, CJ. I think some of the reported judgments, I was in full court.
So you...
And even some, there are so many times. And even now, I was presiding about last month. And I'm a scribe in that matter.
All right.
And then, I think twice this time.
During your acting stints in the leadership position, how did you fare?
Judging from the comments from...
For a start, did you enjoy it?
I did.
Because administration can be quite relentless and very tedious.
It's administrative, but in Quebec, I would find time to go to court because I'm not an administrator, but I'm a person who is in law. So I didn't want to rust where there's a shortage. Like, for instance, you find that one of the judges is not well, then I will just take the matter and go to court. If it's crowded out and I'm not doing anything during that time, then I would go to court with the matter. So I enjoyed my acting stints, all of them.
All right. And how did things work with colleagues and staff? Did they accept your leadership?
Yeah, CJ, I would definitely vouch and say they did. They did in the sense that you get the feedback from them. Yeah. And even if you may think that it's hard to find out, people gossip, and then you get to know about it. But I never had any such problems. And in fact, I'm here because I've been asked by some of my colleagues to make myself available. If not, but quite a sizable amount of my colleagues have asked me to make myself available. And that means at least I did the correct thing, or I worked well with them.
All right. Well, this vacancy is in your court, in the seat where you are permanently stationed, and you've actually led it on the occasions you just listed now. So you would be intimately aware of any challenges, any gaps that exist there, things that need to be improved. What ideas, if any, do you have we heard from the, I must say, we heard from the last candidate that Gqeberha and things tend to go pretty smoothly in Gqeberha and Makhanda as opposed to Umtata, unfortunately. So you are applying to a seat that is that is efficiently managed by all accounts.
I don't want to mislead this commission. Gqeberha is an old machine, oiled machine. Judge Van Zyl, when he got there, he set things in place and in perspective. There's not much to improve other than do your work and then check as the time goes by that there's a need for you to improve. But what I think it's crucial at this stage is the synergy between the front office as well as the back office. That needs to be worked on. Because some other problems, as I was acting, they are starting to creep in. You find that the court doesn't start on time, the interpreter is not available, we have a shortage of the interpreters. 2, I think, have retired, 1 has resigned. So there are those teething problems which can be solved on a daily basis if appointments are made. Other than that, there's none. It's something which one can handle at the time it surfaces. But other than that, sorry, Chief Justice.
No, other than that, carry
Other
on.
than that, the systems in Gqeberha are superb.
Vacancies filled as they arise?
We tried during my tenure. One of the interpreters, long-standing interpreters, Utatu Wabane, had retired. We had a shortage. And then I spoke to the registrar. The registrar, we arranged that he should come on a temporal basis. And then we found another good interpreter to come on a temporal basis. So two vacancies of, two interpreters had to come in. The one who had just retired and the one who was acting. So it was quickly resolved, that one as well.
All right. Has court online been implemented there?
Yes, it has been
Well introduced?
Yes, it has been introduced.
And it is running?
It is not running as yet because the go online dates, everything started, and then the motion court started as well. I haven't been to motion court since the case line has started. But I understand, I've checked with the registrars, summons have been issued. We have over 800 cases which were issued online. That is summons. We have over 1,000 applications and the like which have been issued online. But the report I got is that when the time comes in court, then the judges insist that there should be a hard copy. There's only one judge who did the case lines throughout motion court. I think it must have been 2 weeks or so ago, because we meet during tea time, and it was an acting judge called AJ, I think. And then she did a motion court throughout using case lines.
Why are you permanent judges not doing it?
I don't know. Most probably they're still resisting, or not necessarily resisting. They still haven't grasped the concept as well of how it is done, how they should done. Some of them raised an issue that it is against the rules, the uniform rules, to do these matters on case lines and the rest. But I wouldn't say it's resistance, but it's something which has to be worked into. Call them in, and then you discuss the issue with them. But honestly, there has been such an instance. And I understand if AJP as well, there was a memo which was circulated to the effect that they are not prepared at this stage to run with case lines. But others, I think it's just a question of being computer afraid to deal with the matter. But once
it's more a fear, and
it's more than fear
one
than
of those,
anything
actually.
of resisting. Yes, it's more than fear. That's what I gathered.
Yeah. Anything else you want to bring to our attention on if you have any plan, any vision for that court and the other courts in the division, because
I'm part of the
ultimately
division.
you are a judge of the Eastern Cape division. You can't run your own show in Port Elizabeth while Umtata is dying a few kilometers away.
Yes, there's a major problem which has to be attended to, and I say it in front of HAP, and he has once raised it as well. I'll say that. There's no synergy in working. Grahamstown does its own thing. Umtata does its own thing. Gqeberha does its own thing. And there's a huge problem then. I understand the demographics of the area are unique, but there has to be unison in dealing with these matters. I just want to make it my mission. AJP or JP agreeing. I said in this commission in 2017, there's a huge problem in Mtata. It was not accepted. It did not sit well with those who were listening to my interview. 7 years or 8 years down the line, I'm exonerated. There is a problem in Mtata. I worked in Mtata for 17 years. I know the culture of Mtata. I've worked around that court during that period, 17 years. And I visited it every now and again when we circulate, when we do our rounds. Mtata needs a problem. It's a problem. It needs to be attended to. It is one of my missions to go and assist because I know the culture of that court. And I said it many a times, and I'll say it ad nauseum. It needs to be attended to. And another thing which I implore this commission to do. Chief Justice, there are 2 vacancies in Mtata of DJP. You may ask me why am I saying so. AJP has been acting out of this position for 2.5 years now, if I remember, if my calculation is correct. There is so much uncertainty around the post of JP. We're better off in Gqeberha because it's only a period of about 10 months since Davi has resigned, or he had retired rather. But even Grahamstown, even Port Elizabeth has to be, that you have to appoint someone to be a DJP in Port Elizabeth. Other than that, it will go down as well. It is not easy to work in a position on a temporal basis. You can't think and implement your ideas if you are there for 3 months and you don't know when the next 3 months is going to come. So we need certainty in the division.
Well, whilst on that topic, there is a professional body that says none of you 3 candidates we are busy with today is suitable for the position. You lack the intellectual prowess, you don't have the necessary leadership experience. What would you say to that?
I disagree. I disagree on a personal point of view. I disagree because most of the bodies that have commented, they don't share the same view. That is shared by the PLA. That body you're talking about is the PLA.
It is the PLA.
Yes. I don't share that same view. To think of it, CJ, I started as an attorney. The difference between an attorney and an advocate's practice is that an attorney does administration. You administer the clerical staff, you administer candidate attorneys, you administer professional assistants or qualified attorneys, you administer business account, you administer trust account. You tend to be all of those things if you are an attorney.
But you were a magistrate as well?
Then I'm coming to that, CJ. Before being an attorney, I was a magistrate. I was a magistrate at the age of 24. That's when I was appointed as a magistrate. I was in charge of the deposit account, which deals with finances of the institution, let alone the revenue office. I supervised and dealt with clerks who are responsible for civil and as well as the criminal courts. They were under my supervision. And partially, I dealt with all the staff which were at the revenue office. In addition to that, all the court support staff were under my supervision. So on a daily basis, I did checking of the books, checking of whether the court is running smoothly, checking the interpreters, checking the clerk of the civil court, whether the registrars and the cases have been entered timelessly, and the rest. So I've been an administrator in that capacity as well. When it comes to here, I've been acting, you led me in with regard to the instances where I acted. And I acted to the satisfaction of the practitioners themselves. If you read the comments made by the GCP tells us that the report it got from the people in Gqeberha. I say this as Chief Justice with much certainty. If you looked at my application form, there was a mishap. I did not attach my CV. It was a mishap. It was an error on my part, and they're chastising me for doing that. But if you
the
look,
GCP says it's a sign of
yes,
attention
exactly,
to detail,
not attention,
which is very important in a judge. You have to be meticulous.
Yes, that's why I admitted. I admitted that I made an error. But going through their comments in the absence of the CV, it means that they got information from their members who are in Gqeberha, because they attend to all these instances where I acted. That's all I was saying in connection with the PLA. But if you want me to take you through, in fact, I will do so. Take the commissioners to what the other bodies are saying.
No, we have the papers
Okay,
in front
thank
of
you
us,
very
and
much.
I'm actually looking at the GCP's
Comments. And then if you
comments,
listen,
which criticizes you for that, but
Yes.
they say you ran as a head of, as a leader, when you acted, you ran a good show and you're a good judge. That's the sum of their comment about you.
thank you very much, Sej.
You listed 2 reserve judgments in your application form.
Yes, Judge. They were delivered.
They were delivered.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Thank you very much. Judge Makaula.
Thank you.
JP, do you have questions for your candidate?
Good afternoon, Judge Makaula.
Good afternoon, AJP.
Oh, sorry. Before AJP takes a bite, just one issue, Judge Madlanga. So, did I say Madlanga? Well, he's your best friend, isn't he? Don't
Yes, he
blame
must
me.
be my Mandela.
Judge Makaula.
Yes.
There's a concern
Yes, sir.
that, and it's a serious concern,
Yes, sir.
that women judges have not been given a chance at leadership in that division. And you are competing against 2 women. What advice would you give? I know I'm putting you in the spot. What advice would you give this body in a situation such as this?
Permit me, CJ, to be a self-raising flower. This kukumalele ngesixhosa, if I may, I'm merely joking.
Zithethelele.
And this tetelele. The question is, I prepared something that the question is pregnant and requires a deeper or more nuanced response. It forms the crux of this interview when it comes to my contending for the post. Therefore, in answering it, I need to give a bit of background about my role in promoting women. As an attorney, I produced 8 women. They are all over the legal spectrum. I think I even produced and worked with the sister of the applicant who's going to be following me. She did the other articles with me, and then she was a professional assistant in my firm.
And you did brief me as well.
Yes, I did brief you as well on numerous occasions, CJ. And when you were not receiving joy when it comes to your payment, I think you appealed to me, if I remember well, from my partner. For the past 9 years, I've been assisting SciJ in the training of aspirant judges, and then twice for the newly appointed judges, the majority of whom are females. In the latter part of the year 2023, I was asked by a retired DJP Mujapilo to come and assist in the training of women aspirant judges. I think it was a fast-tracking program. I think CJ knows about it. And I obliged. I remember vividly his first words after exchanging greetings. He said, I quote, "You come highly recommended," close quotes. Post that training, I was asked by the JP to mentor for a term 2 women acting judges from that group. I did and compiled a report on their performance at the end of their acting stint. As aforesaid, I give all this background to show the contribution I made towards the enhancement of females, especially those who aspire to be judges. I say so in the backdrop of the fact that I am competing against 2 women colleagues. They are experienced colleagues, and I take nothing away from them. I'm aware of the demographics of the division and the agenda on gender equality, especially in our division. As a candidate for this role, I am not here to undermine the constitutional imperatives and policies that aim to promote female judges, not only in the lower ranks, but in leadership positions as well. Instead, I'm here because I have been nominated by a body of lawyers and a senior member of the Gqeberha Bar who repose trust in me. I believe my skills, experience, and passion for the role align with the division's goals and values. I am eager to contribute to a diverse and inclusive work environment where everyone can thrive. I am confident that my qualifications and abilities make me a strong fit for this position, especially that I have been involved in administrative structures of the division since 2015 and acted in the position for 5 occasions. However, it is the prerogative of this august body to determine a suitable candidate. That I conclude my response to that, Chief Justice.
Thank you, Judge Makaula. Back to you, AJP. Sorry about that.
To the extent that the issue of advancement of women causes confronts all of us. I have to feel this question, which ordinarily I would withdraw in light of the last question by the Chief Justice. You became a judge from 2010, am I right?
That's correct, AJ.
Up until now.
That's correct.
And in my calculation, you have more than 15 years of experience as judge.
That's correct, AJ.
And in my calculation, you have 9 years outstanding before retirement at 70.
That's correct, AJ.
Which means that if appointed as DJP, your contribution will last that long period of time.
Correct, AJ.
And whilst it lasts, there will be consistency in the division.
Yes, there will be consistency.
And you are alive to the dynamics of not only Gqeberha, but also the other stations, that is Makanda, Bisho, East London, and Mthatha.
Very well, HAP, I know that.
You not just associated, but you work closely with Justice Van Zyl, who retired in January this year.
Yes, Justice Van Zyl, I was acting until, can I just chip this in? In 2015, I think it was 2015, I was asked by the late Judge Sangoni, he was a JP then, he said I should represent Grahamstown in all the administrative structures of the division. I obliged PEEC subcommittees, I chaired some of those committees from 2015 to 2017 in Grahamstown. When I moved to PE, then I continued with that role of representing PE until December 2018 when David took over. David did all these changes. He had a plan. It was his own plan, not our plan. Immediately he was finished with the plan, he came to us with that vision. That I give credit to him. And we made an input on something that he had already started and done, which is one of the qualities I take out from David. I'm sorry to no disrespect from Judge Van Zyl. So I agree with you that I worked closely with him. Even at the time he came to the court, I worked closely with him. I agree with you, AJP.
And whenever he was absent, or by reasons of either acting elsewhere in the higher court or ill, when he takes ill, he would feature in that administration.
It's correct. I took over the reins.
And as we have said, you have presided in a meaningful way in the PEEC platforms.
Yes, and even in your presence as well, you asked me on numerous occasions to go and attend PECC. I've chaired PEC on numerous occasions. Yes. Even when it was JP Mbeneng was still around, so I chaired the provincial efficiency committee. Yes.
Yes, and I also note that you are acting in the Supreme Court of Appeal is a mark of distinction between you and the other colleagues.
Thank you. I think Chief Justice appointed me to act at the SA for 2 terms. And then when that 2 terms was over, just before it was finished, she asked me if I could remain for a 3rd term. I obliged, and then I remained for another term. Otherwise, initially she had appointed me to act at the SA for 2 terms.
And I noted, Justice Makaula, that at the SCA, for lack of a better word, you acquitted yourself. That is operationally.
Yes, I think I did.
When I say you acquitted yourself, I mean to say you were able to produce judgments of substance there within the time when they were expected to be reported.
Yes, I did, except CJ would recall, Sigcawu was delayed by 1 month, 10 days. It was due to be delivered on the third month, but it was delivered on the 4th month, 10 days extra.
And I cannot help it,
Yes.
but pull into this discussion something which somehow appeared as a controversy. I can't define it because I do not know how it happened. Can you say something about it? Because some people situated at other quarters will ask, oh, Judge Makaula is here again, and previously he came.
Yes.
Sorry. No, I was just pointing out that the proceedings of his last interview are in part of our papers. It's right here before us.
Yes.
Unless you are asking for the benefit of somebody else who's not here. I'm not stopping you.
Thank you very much. With that information, I do not think that I need to delve into that. But mine was just to say, to put this matter before you in acknowledgement of your activities in the Supreme Court of Appeal.
Revisiting that AJP.
Justice Makaula, I wouldn't like
sorry.
you to pick on this question and answer it. I prefer to defer everything to the record and what members of the JSC will have to say or do about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mine was just to check your tracks.
Yes.
Where have you been? What have you been doing? Where? As the case may be.
In fact, just to comment now that you've raised, where you slip and fall, and then you rise. You rise up with your dignity still intact if you acknowledge that you made a mistake before. Honesty, I believe, is the best policy ever. I slipped. The CJ did her best to admonish me, and I admit I was wrong. And I don't take anything away from that interview at all. I just wanted to make this acknowledgement so that if you are going to raise it with them, you must know my views regarding that interview.
Thank you, Justice Makaula. And I note also from your documents that you have been managing your work as judge in the Eastern Cape well. That is, your judgments up to date.
Yes.
And all that.
They are. Since the last interview I had here, all my judgments are on time.
Yes.
And you can attest to that because you get the grid every quarter.
Yes. Okay.
And I'm sorry, AJP. One thing, Chief Justice, which you asked me about the judgments which I declared here. One of the judgments, the first one which was reserved in March, it was delivered in 6 months. And the reason being that I had an operation. So I was booked off from work, and then I had an operation. I just want to mention it up front that there was that judgment which was I disclosed from March. It was delivered within 6 months.
That still falls within the 6-month period.
Yes, it does, CJ. It does. And the reason is that I had a major operation.
If you were to appoint as DJP, how would you assist the division overcome the deficiency of absence of women at the top?
Absence of the?
Women, colleagues at the top. How would you respond to that? What plan would you pursue?
There's none other than grooming women judges or female judges to the position. You have to groom them.
Yeah. You have been...
And I think grooming takes a long time.
Yes. And, okay.
It's a mission
Perhaps,
Yes.
Justice Makaula,
I'm sorry,
I
sorry,
may
sorry.
venture to asking the question of how long a time, in your opinion?
If they have a background of administration, it may take shorter. But if they are willing to learn, it can take a year or so, or even less than a year.
But you
to
are
groom
prepared,
someone.
but you would be prepared to assist.
If they are willing to be helped, I'm always there, even in the division. I help. I think you understand, you know of some instances where I found colleagues battling. And I would say to them, leave it to me, I will talk to the colleague, and then I forge ahead. I've done it to you, I've done it to sell. I'm sorry, man. I'm used to these people, so I call them by their names, to Judge Benenge.
Okay.
I've done it with him as well.
And I've noted in your answers that you mentioned the term culture of Mthatha or in Mthatha, and I suppose you must have been acknowledging the fact that there could be distinctions between the stations that
Yes.
exist. And I was happy to hear it from you that you recognize the fact that Mthatha would be struggling a little bit. I know that some of the members will say it's more than the term a little bit, but allow me to use that term. Do you understand the dynamics of Mthatha very well? That is, practice dynamics, the relationship between the judges and the office of the registrar, the relationship between the judges and the practitioners that serve the court.
AJP, I was aware as far back as 2017 of the problems in Mthatha. I was aware as far back as that. And I even mentioned that to this body. Then it did not make sense because no one followed it up. It was as though I'm maybe vying for a position and then I'm trying to shift blame. Not at all. The problem in Mthatha is that everything has to be overhauled. By overhauling, I'm not saying that everything has to be, you move stuff, you do it. It has to be overhauled from the registrar's office, from the practitioners themselves. I'll make an example. If two practitioners come in Gqeberha, having a matter, you know for a fact that both of them are representing genuinely the interests of their different clients. And in so doing, they're not going to lie. They are not colluding. But in Mthatha, it's different. It is really different in Mthatha. So you can't trust the colleagues. So you have to go back to the roots and the bodies. Attorneys associations, bar council. But I understand there are so many bar councils in Mthatha. But you rope them, all of them, so that you'll be on the same page. I'm merely ventilating some, I'm thinking. But when on the ground, when attending to the problem in Mthatha, I think I would, with your assistance, or you, with my assistance, be in a position to unravel whatever problems there are in Mthatha. But it is a thorn in the flesh. It gives the division a bad name. And I know that Monday, I'll be accused of saying something about Mthatha, which is a fact. And I don't care because that's what I see. Who JP Sangoni, if I may share that with council, JP Sangoni's Chief Justice was in Mthatha, and there came an attorney presenting a draft order in an RAF matter, seeking 18 million rand and saying that it was by consent. Uputemba on not because of anything. He said, I would never ever sign a draft order ordering a government institution to pay 18 million rands just on the mere saying of you. That matter, from then, it appeared before another judge claiming 14 million from another one, but it ended up settling at 1 million rands from 18 million rands. The rest is history. You can't trust anybody in Mthatha, not unless you know them.
And I'm sure that you define that as misrepresentation.
Very.
emanating from those who
Are supposed to assist you.
come to, yes, the court officials, the officers of court who come to court to run their cases.
You know, CJ, I'm sorry to be monopolizing. I even said to SLP, Judge Mbenenge, that if uhamba ngezihlangu, umane usiya eMthatha, I think Commissioner Toby can interpret for me, please. If uhamba ngezihlangu, uya eMthatha kwawuguga izithende. But if uhamba ngemoto, kwawuphela amatayara.
Is it that hopeless?
It is. You can call him or send an SMS, he will confirm what I'm saying. I said, if uhamba ngezihlangu, zizawuphela izithende. If uhamba ngemoto, kwawuphela amatayara.
Commissioner Twaleb can.
We may laugh, but it's actually heartbreaking what's happening down there. That division has produced
So many judges.
so many, solid people. Judge Mandela came from there, Mahlanga, Jafta, and many, many other people who've contributed to this country. And now it's, and Inkosi over there. Premier? Oh, I thought you'd finished, AJP.
I'm done. Thank you very much, CJ.
Premier?
Very interesting stuff. Thank you very much. CJ, if you allow me, let me come to the rescue of Commissioner Toby and interpret, because I see there is no interpreter here today. We are on our own. Thank you very much. Good afternoon,
Good
Judge
afternoon, Premier.
Makaula.
Good afternoon, Premier.
I think you have almost answered a lot from what I would have wanted to raise with you, especially that detailed presentation you were talking to on demographics and gender question. But probably you will help me as well with all the experience you have just demonstrated here. Your take on the report of Justice Moseneke and its recommendation, and also the concern the community has of Makanda, of serious economic repercussions if that is done in the manner in which it is currently recommended, the rationalization. But also, if you may just note, I've got few, I don't have many. The perception, particularly in the Eastern Cape province, that is really a province where you really feel the disastrous effects of the apartheid as well as the colonial system, which would have led to this migrant labor system that we're seeing there. There's a perception that our courts are anti-development in the Eastern Cape, with a couple of judgments that would have been passed that seeks to frustrate or delay the initiatives, development initiatives around that, particularly challenged by greenies and all that. Just your comment there. What's your thinking?
Let me rephrase it. It's about Moseneke report.
Yes.
And then what about the judgments, the Premier? I'm sorry.
The perception that the courts are anti-development.
It's oh, yes.
There will be a couple of such kind of court judgments that would have been passed. The last one, or the second last. The challenge that I get to be exposed to as a premier in that province of Roman Dutch law versus customary law on matters of traditional leadership disputes. I think this has been a very challenging situation in most cases where courts are deciding. Most of them are more on default judgments than judgments done on merit, but they have been distorting a lot around this issue. Your comment there as well. The last one, because you just indicated on it yourself. This issue of medical legal, which has really been collapsing the Department of Health, and from where I'm seated now, that department is actually, its baseline has been completely eroded to a point of government struggling to deliver services to those who need them most. Just those few you can comment on.
Regarding what the courts are doing, I think we are constrained. You just can do nothing. If the parties do not make submissions which are more relevant to what you seek to achieve. You represent your client, you make representations, and then the court will have to decide on those issues which were raised. Other than that, I sitting as a JP or an E.Cape or a DJP rather, there's nothing I can do about what happens in court because the magistrate, the judge, once he starts the matter, he sees with it. No one should interfere with his discretion. That's unfortunate, or in fact, it's fortunate. And when it comes to courts dealing with Roman Dutch law and customary law, I think I'm not a specialist in constitutional law at all. But the Constitution allows a situation where customary law must be developed. I will make an example. Chief Justice will recall the matter we wrote together of Zikao. In that matter, we concluded that the commission failed to take into account the living customary practices of the Amampondo and merely dealt with the matter using a Roman Dutch law, that's it. If you develop the customary law alongside, if and the facts are permitting, then you have to develop the customary law. And then when it comes to medical legal reports, Premier, it pains us as taxpayers. It really pains us to be signing orders daily where the state is conceding millions and millions of rands. One day, I scrutinized, I signed off orders which amounted to 25 million rands from the medical legal reports. One of the judgments I wrote, the negligence of the hospital was palpable. So it has to do with the executive. I think the executive has to manage the hospitals and get employees of the hospitals who qualify to be there. But the negligence which is committed in hospitals, it's beyond reproach. We may blame attorneys and advocates for dealing with those matters, but some of them are really genuine claims. And the Musoneke report, I can't proffer anything other than saying that I support it, but I remember it must have been 2019 or 2018. We nearly had a fist fight amongst colleagues in a meeting which involved the moving of the Grahamstown court. So the better the judges say about that matter, the better, the least they say about that matter, the better. Judge Musenega's report is there. It is there to be implemented. If there's a will from the government to implement that report, so be it. Thank you, CJ.
JP Tlaleti?
Thank you, CJ. Good afternoon, Judge Makaula.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Tlaleti.
Good. I get the sense that from what you are saying, there are serious problems in Mthatha. And you seem to be saying that if a person is in an acting position, he or she is unable to implement or change things. Is that actually
It's
what
exactly the same thing I'm saying.
Yeah. But you must be aware that by law, once you are appointed acting judge president or acting deputy judge president, you assume all the responsibilities assigned to that position.
Exactly.
What would then the difficulty be if you were to get, after consultation with the relevant stakeholders of the court, and address the problems that are there, even if you are in an acting position?
The problem is that you will implement this idea this term. The next term, if the next judge comes and acts, they will change what you've done. Or they will be lax in implementing. Because once you start something, you want to see it through. If you can't see it through, then it definitely going to dissipate in the process. But if you are certain that you are there and there's certainty, and I implore the commission, there has to be certainty, at least of one DJP, not both posts being vacant for so long, 10 months and 2.5 years. We're heading for disaster in the whole province. But to answer your question, the problem is that there's no continuity with your idea.
I see. And then regarding the role that is played by the organized profession, I also get the sense that they either interfere a lot with the running of the court or demand to interfere with the running of the court or take decisions.
It is rumored and it is almost believable that that is the position. I can't be on WhatsApp with an attorney. Why am I on WhatsApp with an attorney who's not my friend? Why should I get a report from an attorney? Why should, whilst I'm in PE, get a report that George so-and-so did this in court a few minutes ago? Why? Getting that from a practitioner, that's not the correct way of leading. The correct way of leading is to get information from a colleague, a reliable colleague, or you go there and investigate. But you can't be on WhatsApp with everybody else. What are you talking about?
As a judicial officer.
As a judicial officer, why are you in a WhatsApp group with attorneys or practitioners? It can't happen.
I see. And lastly, what is the argument against implementation of case lines and the rules? Because my understanding, and we are implementing it, it does not change the rules of court. They remain intact. The main change really is to file documents electronically.
I don't know what the problem is, because whatever you check, if you are a clerk of the court, you check summons. They are bringing in summons so that you can issue those summons. You check if they comply with the rules. Initially, we used to have stamp, revenue stamp attached, which is no longer the position. But the rules tell you exactly what the defendant, the plaintiff, the address, and all those things, TS, and all those things are there. You can still the same. And the major problem, one of my colleagues was discussing that. They're saying that how can you sign the particulars of claim and the summons? And I said to him, it's easier before you send, you scan everything. Comply with the rules of the court, sign the documents in a proper fashion, and then send them through. That's all. I for one, am for case lines.
I see. The judicial case flow management, are the judges still managing the cases?
Yes, we are managing them. The process we're following is different between Mthatha, Grahamstown, as well as Gqeberha.
Yes.
Gqeberha does it in a case law is done on daily basis. You get your pack, you get your cases. It's done in chambers. In Mthatha, I understand. JP will correct me. It's done in a different fashion. You go to court. I've acted in Mthatha. You go to court. And then you go to court. It's done in court, and then everybody must be in court. But in Gqeberha, we do it on a one-to-one basis. You engage them. But if you're going to be having a stack of 40, 50 files, and you have to start, you get them at 9 o'clock, you have to start at 9:30, then you have a problem.
Are the files not kept with you in your chambers?
They are supposed to be.
Yes.
In Gqeberha, we keep our files in our chambers. If I haven't settled, if for instance they bring a matter for case flow, and then all of a sudden they want to settle that matter. They say that, okay, we don't want to certify trial ready. We want you to keep that. That's how genuine they are in PE. We want you to keep this matter. We are close to settling it. Rather than increasing our court roll, can you wait for 2 weeks so that we can find each other on the amount, on the merits, and you allow that?
Yes. The involvement of the judges in the management of these cases, does it not add an advantage that parties get to settle just like it would happen
We do.
in mediation.
They really do. They get to settle. If you would go through the matter, the attorneys are here or counsel is here, and then you see that there's very little that's outstanding in this matter, you persuade them.
And you clear up all these interlocutory
All
applications.
and in fact, you cut the matter by far. 80% of the things which you are supposed to do are gone. And there are I don't know how many times I've settled matters. I have a policy in PE, and I say it to them that whenever I'm acting as a JP, if other judges, assuming Judge Pakati is going to work in East London, and she's not going to be available, and you want the matter to be heard in that week, if it is for settlement or there is a minor dispute, bring it to me, so that I sit with the matter myself, rather than it waits for Judge Pakati or whoever judge is there, because it helps us reducing our role by far.
So in the absence of mediation, which is an act on mediation, case flow management by judges is important.
It's
that
very
it should
important.
continue.
It should. It's very important.
I see. No, thank you.
I've a week settled over maybe 30, 40 files a week,
Yes.
which was in fact was supposed to be in our role, and not me only, even other colleagues. That's why we don't have backlogs in PE.
I see.
Thank you.
Acting as DJP in Mthatha, can it prepare you well for Gqeberha?
No, not
Why
really.
do you say so?
The systems are different. And you have to find, in fact, let me revisit this answer. Acting in Mthatha would be, acting in Mthatha and then going to Gqeberha, it's a bonus going to Gqeberha because you'll find that the machine is running. And we will take you through the process in 2 hours. In an hour or 30 minutes, I can take you through all the processes which are required which are required to be looked at when you are acting as a DJP. I've done it with my colleagues. I've taken them along with, as David did, Judge Van Zyl did with us, or with me.
But then was the
JP said, probably, I don't understand it. Hence, I say that I will make it my mission, if I get the position, to sit with the AJP, to check exactly where the problem is. Why do they have to go to, they have a whole host of default judgments, pile of default judgments, almost every Wednesday, is it AJP? I think it's Wednesday.
Could it be an issue of leadership, perhaps?
IJP, don't put me on the spot, I don't know. ICJ, I refuse to answer that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I say it with respect, Chief Justice.
No, I'm asking honestly.
Honestly, Chief Justice, it's exactly what we will have to look at, because there's a possibility that since they are acting judges out of, let us assume AJP was the judge who was sitting there as an AJP, as a DJP, then I would be singing a different tune and I would say that it's him. I don't know whether it's because they are changing acting judges or acting deputy judges or not. I don't know. But if he was there, I'm honest with you, and I'm not afraid of him. I would say it's his fault. But now that this thing is continuing, it started 2017, it's getting worse and worse and worse. Leadership has to find its way to dealing with this matter. Leadership in Mthatha, they have to. And we have to assist them if they need assistance. Whether I get the post or not, whether I don't get the post, I will assist if they need assistance, because I know the culture of Mthatha.
President.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice. Good afternoon, Judge Makaula.
Good afternoon, Justice Swam. Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm all right, Mr. President, and you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. I think in response to one of the questions from the DJP, you mentioned that you have participated in the meetings of PEEC, which is the Provincial Efficiency Enhancement Committee. Is that correct?
Yes, I have.
How many meetings have you participated in?
Sure.
Several.
Starting from 2015,
Yes.
President,
Several meetings.
each and every meeting when I was in Grahamstown, I was part of it.
Yes.
Hence, I chaired it on numerous occasions. When I was in Grahamstown, I've attended it for 5 years, for 7 years. And then when I was in Quebec, I attended it for a year until the Judge Van Zyl was appointed. And then because Judge Van Zyl he didn't like driving because it's normally held in East London, he would ask me to go and represent him because he knew that I knew everything about that committee
Yes.
and the subcommittees which are there. So I would attend it's countless times.
Yes, and would you agree that a PEEC forum is a good forum, not only where members of the profession bring their problems to the attention of the judge president or the leadership of the court, but where the leadership of the court can also raise issues with members of the profession?
That's what we did.
Yes.
And that's what we're supposed to do. Interrogate each other.
Yes. So I'm just sitting here wondering, okay, before I get to that point, and you also agree that when problems have been identified at PEEC level, but they're not resolved, they are escalated to the NEEC, and the NEEC is chaired by the Chief Justice.
Yes.
You know about that?
Yes, I am aware.
Yes. So I'm sitting here now wondering why, if there are so many problems in Umtata, they have never ever been escalated to the NEEC.
To the PEEC. They should.
No, from the PEEC to the NEEC.
I don't
Because
know.
it seems from your account of events, these are problems that have been persisting for years. So what I'm asking myself is, why have these problems not been escalated to the NEEC? Because if they were identified, then surely they were discussed at PEEC level. And if they could not be resolved there, then they ought to have been escalated to the NEEC.
President, that I agree with you.
Yes.
And during my last interview for a position, when I came back, I had a flag of some of the members of the PEEC. And I told them to go away because I was telling the truth. I was chairing what we formed then in 2016, a facility intervention task team. It was meant to move Umtata Magistrates Court to a new precinct on the way towards the airport. There's a government institution there, or land. It was sufficient to house the justice. Lo and behold, now it still forms part of the agenda. Mkanduli was banned many years ago, I think in 2017, 2018. I was shocked when I attended last time that Mkanduli, we're still talking about Mkanduli not renovated.
Okay.
We organized park homes as that committee, so that magistrates and the clerical staff could be housed. I think now they are dilapidating. They are gone if they are still there.
So would it be fair to sum up your response as you don't know the reason why all these problems have not been brought to the attention of the
I don't know at all. They should have been long brought to the attention of the NEC.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge Makaula.
I agree
Thank
with you.
CJ.
Thank you, President. Before I forget, I just want to understand a comment you made earlier about judges receiving messages on WhatsApp from practitioners.
Yes.
Were you saying there is a judge or judges who discuss business of the court with?
I suspect so.
with
I don't have
practitioners?
conclusive proof, but I suspect so, Justice, and I suspect so strongly.
All right.
Because it's not possible, Chief Justice, for me to be in court now, and then 10 minutes after adjournment, then it's known by the person in Port Elizabeth or in East London. How can you believe that?
All right. Minister?
Telling you exactly what happened? No.
Minister.
Okay, thank you very much, CJ. Good afternoon, Judge Makaula.
Good afternoon, Minister.
Thank you very much. I think I'll start with the issue of Mtata in the manner that you reflected it. I guess the first step of resolving a problem is to do a proper diagnosis. And in your comments, as we're talking, you make mention that Mtata needs an overhaul.
Yes.
Maybe perhaps if you can take us through what does that mean? What will we do to do the overhaul? And I say we because it's obviously all of us having to work in the interest of our communities to rebuild the confidence in our communities, but more importantly, in terms of protecting the integrity of the judiciary.
You start with your backyard, Minister. Start with your backyard. By saying, start with the clerical staff. You must know what is happening in the front office. You must be involved. The registrar must be involved. You sit with them, you work with them, you oversee exactly what they are doing on a daily basis.
When you say we, you mean all of us?
I, as the head of the court, her or him as the registrar, whoever is supervising that office, starting with the front office where it is alleged that the dates are sold. All you need to do is to be there hands-on. If you dedicate yourself, you say that I will deal with other administrative action problems, but I first have to deal with this, see it to a finish. Don't leave it hanging and say that I'm attending a meeting in Pretoria. I'm attending a meeting in such and such a place. Work with them so that they know your culture. They know that if we don't do it, he's going to be here anytime. You don't come, you come unannounced, you do everything unannounced, you just do what you have to do. Then thereafter, Minister, you go to the stakeholders who are working with the courts. If it is advocates, call their leaders, talk to their leaders, identify what their problem is, go to the attorney's profession, you do the same thing, and then collectively you come together so that you sing from the same hymn book. But if you're going to deal with attorneys and then forget 20 years down the line, you deal with advocates, there's no cohesion, there's nothing that is going to happen which is going to assist your situation. And at times, Minister, even if it's the Chief Justice, you attend the PEC meetings. You check their minutes. You interrogate their minutes. That's basically what I mean by overhauling the whole system, Minister. I don't know whether I come across as making sense.
No, thank you very much.
But I have the idea which I'm toying with in my head.
Okay. Then when we look at the court online, the intention as well is to ensure that it will be a transparent mechanism where an application will be made, dates are afforded. Are you not thinking that that also helps?
It does. Minister, immediately when this started, my daughter is practicing in Gauteng. I sat down with her in one holiday, and I said, show me how this works. And then she did. To an extent that when DCJ Umlambo was presenting in Mtata, we were in East London a few months ago, he was surprised that I was following that process and that program. Because I had asked my daughter, who is practicing in this division, to take me through it. I think, let's not criticize our colleagues. Once they start doing it, they'll be more comfortable. See each step how it is done, then everybody will be comfortable. Technology, Minister, is very difficult with us, the old person. I had one attorney I was talking to. He said, I am glad that this case lines thing starts when I'm about to retire. May it delay until I retire. That's how it is. He is only afraid of playing around with
Okay. Now, coming to your questionnaire,
Yes.
question 18 of your questionnaire,
Yes, Minister.
you are asked there to share with us your contribution. It says, let me just go, what would you regard as your most significant contribution to law and the pursuit of justice in South Africa? And your response there says to us, done through the judgments I have delivered over the years.
Come again, it's 18, sorry, Minister.
18.
Done so through the judgments. Or I was
Yeah.
saying that I've done.
Let me finish my
Oh,
question.
sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, Minister.
So I just wanted you to be there because I wanted you to be sure that that's what you have submitted. Looking at this, one, you are as a judge. For me, shorthand like this, not elaborating what you were meaning, could mean two things. One, either you don't see anything else beyond contribution to justice and South Africa beyond judgment, or two, you just don't pay attention to detail, and which is qualities that we want. I think the CJ raised it earlier on. Are you able to take us through what is your contribution beyond? Because for me, it's beyond the judgments. What is your contribution? What have you done beyond judgments in terms of contributing in the country?
I hear what you say, Minister, and I accept it. I accept that if you reflect on it in the fashion you do now, I accept that I should have expanded on that. I accept it. But what I would say on not paying attention to detail, I am now aware. I was aware when I read the questionnaire by the GCP, and I realized that I have to do something about it. It's a fair criticism, and I accept it. I really accept it and apologize for it. Unreservedly, I don't want to qualify it. I don't want to do anything. Your judgment is correct, and with all humility, what I'm trying to say is that I've taken heed of what this commission is saying and what the GCP, which supports me, by the way, has said. Because even if it supports me, it has to raise areas of concern so that I, as a person, should learn that this is correct and I should not have done it.
Thank you. Thank you,
Minister.
CJ.
Thank you, Minister. Colleagues, Minister had reminded me earlier and I forgot to raise this. We have a long day still ahead of us. So maybe we should stick to our resolution to just keep it to, maybe because the leadership position, no more than 2 crisp questions. One, if we can help it, please. Otherwise, we'll be here until 12 midnight. Did you raise your hand? Okay. Professor Marumachai?
Thank you, CJ. Good afternoon, Judge Makaula.
Good afternoon, Prof. Good afternoon, Prof.
I've been listening throughout the morning discussions about case law, and I think perhaps it falls on us who have actually used it, and we know how efficient it is to keep on publicizing that there is nothing to fear with case law. In fact, it makes your life way easier than if you are not using it. You don't have to carry your bags in your boot and all those kind of things. You can carry all your files in your gadget. So it is something that we have to agitate that it must be used across the country. And I'm happy that you appear to be supporting it. My question to you is in relation to my observation in 4 provinces, Limpopo, Northwest, KwaZulu-Natal, and Eastern Cape, which I believe they play a critical role in growing the understanding of customary law in South Africa. And I've had a chance of reading at least 2 of the judgments that you have authored. The first one, Sikau versus the president, that you wrote when you were at the Supreme Court of Appeal, and the other one, Mulusi,
Yes.
which I think it was subsequently confirmed by the Supreme Court of Appeal.
Yes.
And obviously here you dealt with at least 2 legislation, the traditional and Khoisan leadership, and the traditional, those 2. It seems to me that what is currently happening now is not necessarily the same as what happened in Bear. Because in Bear, it appeared to me that there was a known rule or custom that was stated, and then it was challenged so that it can be developed. But it seems to me now that most of the customary law cases or custom-related cases they are more focused on whatever legislative framework might be at play, as opposed to not necessarily developing the custom or customary law, but restating it so that we can see whether this thing can actually be challenged on constitutional grounds. I'm not sure if you would agree with me that perhaps that does not really assist us in the development of customary law in South Africa.
In an ideal situation, I would agree with you, 100%. But if Prof, you follow all the chiefs and the chieftainship, you will find that they are divided. One says this is the custom, and the other one says this is the custom. And when you look at them, they are two different things, and they claim to have knowledge of those. But if they come up in unison, then I think the courts would be in a position to endorse that custom as you are suggesting.
So the problem is how the cases are actually presented, and we get not to understand what the real custom is.
And you have to decipher from whatever they are saying and check which one do you believe, for what reasons.
Okay. Thank you very much, Judge Kabi. Thank you, CJ.
Commissioner Hassan?
Thank you very much, Chief Justice. Judge Makaula, Commissioner Hassan, how are you?
I'm all right, Commissioner Hassan, and you?
Very well. My question is related to the newly adopted sexual harassment policy, which emphasizes leadership accountability and, of course, the creation of safe and respectful workplaces. As the Deputy Judge President, should you be appointed, how would you foster a climate of dignity, integrity, and safety within the division?
Commissioner, what I would start by doing is, this policy, it's an ongoing document which the Chief Justice I think is following. We had a webinar with Justice Chikri the other day, and concerns were raised, and those concerns are going to be taken to the Chief Justice, who is going to be working on them. So it needs education. Call the clerks in, call the judges in, get someone who is well versed with the policy so that they can teach and show people how the policy works.
I think you can see our concern.
Yes.
Given the fact that I think it's important, in fact, fundamental that we have a policy, but the fact that there may well be a culture of, I wouldn't say sexual harassment, but perhaps a culture of turning a blind eye, particularly in this division. But my follow-up is, given that it's sometimes, especially in Mthatha, and you've explained in the different spaces, that sometimes it's a smaller division or smaller elements where judges and staff work very closely with each other, we see that the hierarchies tend to be very entrenched. How would you ensure genuine independence of handling of such complaints, particularly if the allegation involves a senior colleague or someone within your administrative line of authority?
Commissioner, a difficult one to ask, but an easy one to answer. You call the person. If there's a complainant, then you follow the rules of the norms and standards and the rules to the letter. Whoever has done wrong then must face the consequences. If there is a complaint, then that complaint must be entertained. And if there is a respondent, then that respondent must face what the consequences of his choice. You can't shield and sit. I think even the norms and standards, they say you can't sit back when there is a complaint or when you see that something is wrong or when you see a colleague misbehaving. You can't. You have to take action mero moto as the head of the station.
So maybe just to be clear, I understand all of those things, but what would we do to change the culture within the division?
If you were to ask me what I would do you want my opinion? I've said to colleagues, keep your zip up, stop hugging, keep a distance from somebody you don't know, and keep your mouth shut. Because if you construe every action is suspect of being harassment. So that's my piece of advice to anybody who's asking me about sexual harassment. I'm talking from a man's point of view. I don't know those women who are going to be abusing men. But from my view, keep your zip up. Stop hugging any person. Because if you hug someone, then your fingers, you get to move your fingers. That's sexual harassment. That's my honest 5 cents worth of it.
I'm fine, DJ. I think there might be some follow-ups.
I'm not taking away women. Women will behave the manner they which they want to behave, or whoever in the circumstances.
Judge Makaula,
Yes, Minister.
I'm listening to you and I'm worried
Yes, Minister.
because you seem to insinuate that allegations of sexual harassment are misguided. That's why you're saying people must just not hug. Is that what you are communicating to us?
Minister.
Because the issue of sexual harassment, and that's why Chief Justice had to take this initiative of developing a policy, putting a desk, doing everything that she could to fast track even the process. We're looking at the implementation. Now, in the manner that you're saying, because I don't think there is a problem of hugging between men and women. There's never been a problem of hugging. Sexual harassment is defined properly. It's sexual harassment. Now, when you say you advise men, I hear the zipping. But when you say you're advising men not to hug women, it has a different connotation. It's coming across differently. Almost like as you hug, I'm likely to make an allegation of sexual harassment. I'm not so sure if you are reflecting on what you are saying.
Minister, if you remember, she asked me as a leader, and then she wanted a personal view. And then I said, I, for one, I don't want to do any of those things, Minister. With respect, I, for one, I'm not saying other men can do it. I, for one, I'm not trivializing this matter, Minister. It's painful. It's no different from rape, where we have sentenced people to life and you're short of sentencing more. I'm not trivializing it, Minister, at all. But you watch the space, there will come cases where the interpretation of the policy is going to be key. And in the webinar, Minister, I'm not the only one who's propagating for this. In the webinar which we had with Justice Chiki, questions were raised as to when does it start. I'm not saying it's a work in progress. You don't have to be afraid, Minister, about my comments at all. I wouldn't be here if I were to perpetrate or perpetuate sexual intercourse or sexual harassment. I just want you to relax. It was a personal view. And in that personal view, Minister, I'm guarding and preventing myself. I don't want to be charged at the end of the day, and then I explain my actions later on, and then I get exonerated. I'm sorry if it comes across like that, Minister. But otherwise, I'm behind the sexual harassment, much as I am behind case lines.
Thank you, CJ. Good afternoon,
Good afternoon,
Judge
Commissioner.
Makaula.
Good afternoon.
I, for one, believe that a person who wants to assume a position of leadership needs to be brave.
Sorry, Commissioner, I'm struggling to hear you.
Oh, I don't know what's wrong. Am I audible?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I was saying that I, for one, believe that a person who wants to assume a position of leadership has to be courageous and confront the issues head on. You were asked if there is perhaps a problem of leadership at Mthatha Court. And I sort of like got your answer to be saying that you're not free to answer that question. Is there a problem of leadership?
In fact, I misconstrued the answer to say that I must call names and say that no, so-and-so is failing. I can't do that without having won them or to spoken.
That was not the question. The question was,
and then
is there perhaps a failure of leadership?
And then I specifically responded to the Chief Justice that it is.
Okay.
And then I even made an example that if you keep on changing acting judges, you act this term, then another one takes, the third one takes, then there is going to be a problem. And the problem in Mthatha is exactly that. And sorry, Commissioner, and I even said that additional to that is the fact that AJP is not in his position for the past 2.5 years. So there's no stability there.
No, he is not in his station, but he has assumed a higher position. That also includes making sure that that station that he has left is well taken care of. So why are you being defensive? Why are you being defensive of him?
No, I'm not. As I say with you, from your approach now, I agree with you 100%. Hence I said, I lift up my hands. I agree with you wholesomely that now that he is the acting JP, he has to see to it that everything is well in his station.
Okay. I lost track of the time period you have acted as the deputy
I think
judge.
4 full terms and then 2 short terms.
Now, in the period that you have been the acting deputy judge president, what did you do to resolve the issues in Mthatha?
I would advise the AJP about issues, but I did not do because there's somebody who is in Mthatha. So I couldn't overreach and then talk to that person if he doesn't seek help from me. But in this instance, if I'm DJP, if you heard me, I'm going to ask the AJP or the JP and tell them that this is the problem, this is how we should solve it. But at the end of it all is the call of the JP. I may impose myself. If the JP doesn't agree with me, it's him. He's not going to do anything about it. I can moan and groan about it, but he's not going to do anything about it. Coming to the issue of you having an idea that I'm a coward, I'm not. You can ask AJP sitting there. I am not. I just want to share something with you, Mr. Mangana. You don't speak ill of the dead. Uputemba, people think that Ujaipi Sangoni was very soft when it comes to me. The only reason that Uputemba respected me is that I faced him on an issue which colleagues felt strongly against and he wanted it to be implemented. And then I went to his chambers and then I spoke to him, unbelievably so. He said, I never thought a young man would confront me. But eventually the rest is history because we got along, he implemented, he listened.
Thank you, Judge Makaula.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Justice.
Commissioner Ngaichuk?
Thank you, Chief Justice. I suppose, good afternoon, Judge Makaula.
Good afternoon, Commissioner.
I suppose, Chief Justice, it's now become a follow-up to the question that Commissioner Mangena was asking. Judge Makaula, the problem I have with your presentation is that Mthatha has been described by the Chief Justice as a shambolic court. And you were there for 17 years. And from what you have explained, I cannot work out what you did to solve the problems that you have been protesting about today. And that gives me a problem in trusting that your elevation will help us at all. Because at 17 years, you were a very, very senior judge. And when the problems started, the problems that have been unearthed by the Daily Maverick. And what worries me about those problems is really the corruption. The fact that people are buying dates, buying files, and bribing their way into the system. And yet our courts are meant to be the safeguard against corruption. So I'm extremely worried that you are speaking as if you are an outsider when you are an insider. And what I would have expected of you is to present to us what you have done, which should give me confidence that you will continue doing it upon elevation. Can you comment on that?
I think, Commissioner Ngogato, we were talking in cross purposes. When I said 17 years as a practitioner,
Yes, all right. And then,
I was just a practitioner for 17 years in Umtata.
yes, and then as a judge?
As a judge, I was in Grahamstown as well, and BE only.
Yes.
And then you can, what happens is that with our system, depending on what the judge, the JP does, you post it to Umtata for a week, and then you go to East London for a week or 2 weeks, and then you go back to your station.
Yes.
So I've never been to that Umtata. Like, for instance, when I acted as a DJP, it was only 2 weeks.
Yes. Yes, all right. Now that's fine. I think that's a good answer. But can you just explain, nevertheless, that you are a judge in the system? You are closer to the action than we are as a commission. But you are protesting as if you are an outsider. And I would have expected that you would at least tell us what steps you have taken as a senior judge.
I've discussed this with the JP. And if you listened to my presentation, I said, JP, if you go there, if you were using your shoes, the soles would be out. And if you are driving, the tires would be worn. It's because it was in the context of discussion or in the context of discussing the issues in Umtata. And we were not seeing eye to eye as to where the problem is. And hence I said to Commissioner Mangena that it depends on the JP whether he sees or he doesn't. I've taken action. I've discussed this with JP. And I've discussed it with Ucha Tlanglela as well.
And I'm struggling still because if you had one meeting with the JP and one other meeting with the DJP, yet we are dealing with a shambolic institution that has been fingered in corruption, it seems to me that is woefully inadequate.
Commissioner Ngogato, problem is I don't have powers. I'm an ordinary judge. And I discussed this. But by making this example, it's not that it was a once-off thing. It's continuous. Everybody knows the problems in Umtata. And if you listen to me, I was whining about the same problem in 2017. But I don't have powers. There's nothing I can do.
And
from 2017, I've been talking about this thing consistently. I've been talking and making suggestions with these things. AJP Tlanglela can even tell you, even when it comes to problems with colleagues, I'm always there for him and volunteering that I should talk to that colleague.
So judges don't have the powers that we think they have.
They don't. They don't, Commissioner Ntoaito. We don't have the power. We have discussions in our meeting. But if the head does not implement what we decide, then what do you do?
Something else you've mentioned in this context, that there is a judge who is on WhatsApp conversation with lawyers, and that's contributing to the problems in the division. Is that, did I understand you correctly?
Yes, the suspicion is that he's on WhatsApp, and I suspect so myself. Yes, because he's well informed or well informed about what is happening there.
Yes, I mean, my problem, I don't know how to put this in a public space. I don't want to work on rumor and speculation and unfairly, suspect people. But you are a judge of senior standing. And if you're going to make an allegation like that, it seems to me that you must back it up.
No, I can back it up if there's a need. I can back it up if there's a need.
Back it up, but not here.
No.
There are processes.
Yes, as I said, I can back it up that the rumor comes from here. It says this.
There is a reporting system provided for by the Judicial Service Commission
That's
Act,
great. Then thank you very much.
where there's a suspicion of impropriety, that kind of thing.
Thank
Simply not here.
Yes. Thank you, Chief Justice. I think your intervention is accepted by me. And then finally, there is the issue of sexual harassment that was raised by Commissioner Hassan, and the minister followed it up. And it seems from your answer that there is an element of trivialization and dismissiveness, because I think you know as well as I do that the complaint is not innocent hugs, but the complaint is an abuse of power. But if a judge of some standing like you reduces the problem into innocent hugs, it means you are playing with it. You don't see the seriousness of the abuse of power. So I don't want to misunderstand you, but I want to give you a chance to comment on that, because what struck me with that answer was that you were making light of it.
I am not in the least making light of it, Mr. Commissioner Ngubatobi. Take a situation where there is a dispute between the two parties. One said, I hugged her innocently. I hugged her innocently. And the other one says, no, during the hug, he touched me inappropriately. So I was showing the thin dividing line between these issues and how complicated the problem is. I cannot, at this stage, trivialize sexual harassment. And if you remember, the first point I made is that it is totally wrong. We will have to educate the colleagues. We will get somebody from elsewhere who is specializing in this field. I cannot, Commissioner Ngubatobi, trivialize sexual harassment.
Yes,
It
but don't you think you should
is
at least
abominable.
don't you think you should at least withdraw that
I
example?
I was about to say that, seeing that this reaction, I withdraw that completely. I withdraw it totally, because it was not intended to say that. Hence, I said, even in respect, I withdraw it unreservedly.
Thank you, Secretary.
Commissioner Gotsa.
Thank you, CJ. And actually, no, I'll forego it. It was I think the other commissioners duly covered the sexual harassment point.
Did you finish?
I was duly covered. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Poswa Lerotori.
Thank you, Judge Makaula.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We have heard from BLA, for example, that the division is divided, and that many legal practitioners feel there's no transparency or consistency on the appointment of acting judges. What is your comment?
Regarding the division amongst colleagues, amongst judges?
Yes, yes, the division amongst judges, and that there is no transparency in the appointment or consistency in the appointment of acting judges in the division. They seem particularly aggrieved about that.
Thank you. Commissioner Poso, I haven't seen, I sit in meetings, and I'm honest in this. I did not pick up any division amongst colleagues. We have divergent views. We discuss issues robustly, but I've never, at any given time, realized that there are divisions. When it comes to acting judges, there is a problem. And I think JSC has identified it as well. Some of the acting judges keep judgments for a year. Some of the acting judges make bizarre and, in fact, unbelievable orders. And when it comes to consistency, I can't pick up, because the system now is that if there's an acting judge in Umtata, I don't get to know or work with her. Because you'll find that during a term or the following term, I don't even know who's acting other than what I see on the road. But basically, there is a problem with acting judges. And colleagues have complained about it. Even colleagues, not the PLA in this particular instance. Even colleagues have complained about the quality and have complained about the manner in which they are running matters. So the second one, I agree with.
Can I just follow up, CJ? The complaint from BLA, as I glean it, is with the appointments, not with how the acting judges acquit themselves once appointed, that opportunities are not granted equally to judges, to legal practitioners to act in the division. Those are the complaints. That's the manner in which I understood the complaint.
I'm trying to think. Probably AJP would be the one to respond properly on this one. The reason being that at Commissioner Poswa is that I was trying to think, you'll find that 2 consecutive or 3 times I'm in Gqeberha, and then I only get to know those who come to Gqeberha or see on the roll. If I were to be given the role, because we have a role, and then we can look who acted this time, last time, and then make a determination. But without having made the determination and checked on the roles who acted more than any other, then I would do that.
Thank you, CJ.
But those who act in Gqeberha, I know that we vary those who act in Gqeberha, because as a Gqeberha DJP or a DJP, you have an input on who you ask to act, and you communicate with the bar, the chairman of the bar, and then the attorneys.
Thank you, Judge Makaula. We've reached the end of your interview.
Thank you very
You're
much, Chief
excused.
Justice. Thank you, Chief Justice. Thanks, Commissioners.